Tragedy hit my family 1 year ago. My wife and I welcomed our sixth boy, Crew Wyatt, into the world, and he proved to be a strong fighter. But after 12 hours, sadly, he passed away. The doctors were upfront with us about some of the concerns they had throughout the pregnancy, but we determined that the only option was to see this through with hope and with faith. When he was born, only a few weeks early, which is pretty amazing, most of those bad things that I had prepared myself to see were not there. Those fears turned out to be totally unfounded. He was beautiful. He had this super cute face and a good head of hair, and he was kind of goopy, but that's just a newborn. Anyway, that said, the effects of that difficult pregnancy were evident. During the pregnancy, there was a lack of amniotic fluid, which caused his lungs to be underdeveloped, amongst a few other things. And, he was born, and his mom held him and loved on him, and I held him and loved on him, and we're his mom and dad, and it was absolutely amazing. Holding him, speaking to him, praying over him. And his color changed. At first, there was these clear signs that there was a lack of oxygen, but it changed. He shifted to this regular, baby pink color. He was calm. He was all warm, and he was making those typical newborn noises. He even grabbed my pinky finger and he squeezed it. I'll never forget that. The doctors had prepared us. It was only going to be a few moments with him. But then one minute turned to 2, and 2 into 10, and 10 into 30, and you could see the doctors and the nurses, all of which were a godsend for us. They stood there in amazement. Those few minutes which were expected were clearly going to be much more. In the end, Crew, he fought for a good 12 hours. We had Grandma and several of his aunts and uncles there with us nearly that entire time. For our extended family, the time was incredible. We're this very tight-knit family, and we rely on one another. We lean on each other in just about all circumstances. But there's big changes occurring right then and soon on the horizon, and it was causing a little bit of fear, and there was some hurt, and the emotions were high. It wasn't all bad. It was just there was this change happening, and anyway, I'm trying to paint this picture that there was a lot going on. But in that hospital, all of those extra things just disappeared. And the room was filled with love. We shared stories, and we laughed, and we joked, and the nurses loved it, the doctors loved it, the family loved it. And in a room that was initially filled with fear and sadness, the shift was palpable. The doctors stuck around for a long time, not just doing doctor things, but just sticking around. They loved being in that atmosphere. The nurses, they never left. And they gave us great latitude. There's no way that many people are supposed to be in a PICU room. But likewise, there was no way they were going to enforce any of their typical rules on us. Not that we were pushing it. They just, nope, not an option. Rules are out the window this day. When there's that much love and that much peace, God enters. Even if you don't know God, you knew that there was something extra in that room. Something supernatural, something awesome. And I'm convinced that Crew stuck around because of the love in that room, because of the atmosphere, because of the Spirit of God present there. Now, his life, it was gonna be short. But he experienced hours of the most peaceful, love-filled atmosphere that I've ever felt. And I'm struggling to put it all into words. It's like you can't really see wind, but you can see the effects of it. And You can see that gravity is there. You can feel it all the time. And it's the same, that atmosphere of love, and it was felt by everyone. And anyone that stepped in that room felt it. It was awesome. Eventually, it got late. You know, our family trickled out. They all have their own families, children, and spouses, and homes, and they couldn't stay forever. And of course, Grandma was the last to leave, thankfully. But I tell you, it couldn't have been 5 minutes after everyone was out the door that Crew passed. The atmosphere changed, and he just knew it was time. And I didn't break down in that moment. I mean, there was tears for sure, and I couldn't speak, but a total breakdown didn't happen. I knew Crew had fought like crazy to keep going. Heck, I wouldn't have wanted to leave that atmosphere if I were him. But when it was time, he went to heaven. My tears, they say, still come when I relive that day, but they're not tears of sadness. It's I'm proud. I'm proud of my wife. I'm proud of my family, and I'm thankful to God that we got more than just a few terrible, heartbreaking minutes with Crew. But what really gets me is the courage, the strength, and the determination that I saw in Crew. He didn't need to fight like he did. He could have taken a few minutes and gone. It would have been easier for him. And that would have been okay, but the little guy pushed so far beyond what anyone said was even possible that I'm still in awe. He showed a warrior spirit in his short 12-hour life, and he changed me forever. Now, you can go on and believe whatever you want, but I know his life was worth it. It wasn't pain and suffering. It was absolute love and peace. So maybe he didn't have what he needed in the womb, but he certainly made up for it that day. He got a lifetime of the best that humanity, that our family, that God had to offer. And he gave his mom and I a perfect and powerful addition to our family. Crew, we love you. Thank you.